I was reaching for the coffee mug on my kitchen table when Sophia grabbed my wrist. Her eyes darted toward the hallway, then back to me, and she pressed something small into my palm, a folded piece of paper. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Don't eat anything your daughter brings today. Please, Mr. Brennan. I'm begging you." My hand froze. Sophia had been my home care aide for 4 months now, ever since the stroke. She'd never acted like this, never touched me urgently, never whispered, never looked so frightened. The morning sunlight coming through the window seemed too bright suddenly, too normal for whatever this moment was becoming. "What are you talking about?" I asked, but she was already stepping back, her professional smile snapping into place like a mask. The front door was opening. I heard Allison's voice calling out her usual greeting. "Dad, it's me. I brought your favorite banana bread, still warm." Sophia's eyes met mine one more time. She gave the smallest shake of her head. Then she turned toward the living room, her voice cheerful and casual. "Good morning, Allison. Your father just finished his exercises." I stood there holding that folded note, my coffee forgotten, my daughter's footsteps coming closer down the hall. My heart was pounding in a way that Dr. Kumar had warned me to avoid. 4 months ago, that pounding might have killed me. The stroke had been mild, they said. Lucky, they said, but it had left me slower, weaker, more dependent on others than I'd been in my 68 years. Allison appeared in the doorway, her smile warm and familiar, carrying a foil-wrapped loaf that smelled like childhood Sunday mornings. "Hey, Dad. How are you feeling today?" "Fine," I managed. "Just fine." But my fist was clenched around that note, and Sophia's words were echoing in my head. "Don't eat anything your daughter brings." What the hell did that mean? Let me back up. Let me explain how I got here, to this moment of standing in my own kitchen, afraid of banana bread from my own child. 6 months ago, I was fine. I was living alone in the same house in suburban Ohio where I'd raised Allison and her brother Marcus. My wife Catherine had died 3 years earlier, cancer, quick and cruel, but I'd been managing. I had my routines, morning walks, coffee with the newspaper, volunteering at the library twice a week. I wasn't wealthy, but I was comfortable. The house was paid off. I had a decent pension from 35 years at the post office, some savings, a life insurance policy I'd cashed in after Catherine died. Then came the stroke. I was making breakfast, and suddenly the spatula fell from my hand. My left side went numb. The room tilted. I managed to call 911 before everything went dark. When I woke up in the hospital, Allison was there. She'd driven 2 hours from Columbus the moment the hospital called her. She held my hand and cried and said, "Dad, you scared us so much. You can't live alone anymore. It's not safe." I wanted to argue, but the words came out slurred. My left arm wouldn't move right. The doctor said I'd need physical therapy, occupational therapy, maybe 3 months of recovery. "You were very lucky, Mr. Brennan," he told me, "but another stroke could be fatal. You need to reduce stress, take your medications, have someone checking on you regularly." Marcus flew in from Seattle. My 2 children sat by my hospital bed and had the conversation I'd been dreading for years, the one where they decided what to do with Dad. "He needs to move in with one of us," Allison said. "I can't," Marcus said immediately. "Jennifer and we're in a 1-bedroom apartment, and with her pregnancy—" I know. Allison squeezed my hand. "We have the space. Dad, you'll come stay with us for a while, just until you're back on your feet." But Derek, Allison's husband, had other ideas. "Actually," he said, appearing in the doorway with coffee, "I think home care might be better. Let him recover in his own space, with his own things. We can hire someone to check on him daily." My mom did that after her hip surgery, and it worked out great. I saw something pass between Allison and Derek, a look I couldn't quite read. Then Allison nodded slowly. "That might be better, actually. Dad, what do you think?" What did I think? I thought I wanted my independence. I thought I didn't want to be a burden. I thought Derek's suggestion sounded like a gift, not realizing it might be a trap. "That sounds good," I said, the words still coming out slightly wrong. "Thank you." So they hired Sophia Martinez through some agency Derek had found online. She came every weekday, 9 to 5. She helped with physical therapy exercises, made sure I took my medications, prepared lunch, did light housekeeping. She was professional, kind, patient, with my slow movements and slurred speech. I started to recover. The words came easier. My left side grew stronger. Life began to feel normal again. Allison visited every Sunday, always bringing something homemade. Banana bread, oatmeal cookies, casseroles I could heat up during the week. "Just trying to help, Dad," she'd say. "I know Sophia doesn't cook much, and you need to keep your strength up." I appreciated it. Really, I did. My daughter, taking time from her busy life to bake for her old man. Except about 3 weeks ago, I started feeling strange. It began with tiredness. I'd wake up from a full night's sleep feeling like I'd been drugged. My morning coffee barely helped. I'd sit in my recliner and drift off, losing hours to a heavy, dreamless unconsciousness that left me groggy and confused. Then came the dizziness. I'd stand up and the room would spin. Walking to the bathroom became an adventure in not falling. Sophia noticed. "Mr. Brennan, maybe we should call doctor?" "Kumar," she said. "This doesn't seem normal." But I'd brushed it off. "I'm just tired. Recovery takes time, right?" The confusion was worse. I'd forget what day it was. Forget whether I'd taken my medication. Forget conversations I'd apparently had with Allison the day before. "Dad, are you sure you're okay?" Allison would ask, her face creased with concern. "You're repeating yourself. Maybe we should increase the home care hours, or think about that assisted living place Derek found." Derek. Always Derek, with the suggestions, the solutions, the helpful ideas. I started losing weight. Food didn't taste right. My appetite disappeared. "Just the stress," I told Sophia, when she expressed worry. But privately, I wondered if another stroke was coming. If this was what dying felt like, a slow fade, a dimming of lights. Then, this morning, Sophia arrived at 9 like always, but she seemed different, tense. She watched me carefully as I did my exercises. She jumped when my phone rang, and when Allison texted to say she was coming by with fresh banana bread, Sophia went pale. That's when she grabbed my wrist. That's when she pressed the note into my hand. Now, Allison was setting the banana bread on the counter, unwrapping it, cutting a thick slice. "Here, Dad, try it while it's warm." I added extra walnuts, just how you like it. I looked at the bread. It looked perfect. It smelled perfect. My daughter smiled at me, and I saw the little girl who used to bake cookies with her mother, flour on her nose, giggling at her own messy handprints. "Actually," I said, my voice steadier than I felt, "I'm not very hungry right now. Maybe later." Something flickered across Allison's face. Disappointment, frustration. It was gone too quickly to tell. "Dad, you need to eat. Sophia says you've been losing weight. Come on, just one slice." She held it out to me. I was acutely aware of Sophia in the next room, of the note still clutched in my hand, of my daughter's expectant face. "Later," I said firmly. "I just had breakfast." "You had toast 2 hours ago," Allison said, and there was an edge to her voice now. "That's not enough. You need protein. You need—" Allison. I hadn't used that tone since she was 16 and missed her curfew. I said later. She blinked. Then she set the banana bread down on the counter, wrapped it back up carefully. "Fine. I'll leave it here for you. Make sure you eat some today. Okay?" She kissed my forehead. I caught a whiff of her perfume, the same one Catherine used to wear, and left. I waited until I heard her car pull out of the driveway. Then I unfolded the note. Sophia's handwriting was rushed, barely legible. The banana bread, the cookies, everything she brings. "I think there's something in them. You get worse after you eat them. Please don't eat any more. I'll explain tonight after she's gone. Destroy this note. I'm scared." My hands started shaking. The note fell to the floor. I stared at the wrapped loaf of banana bread on my counter like it was a coiled snake. No, this was insane. This was paranoid. My own daughter couldn't. But Sophia's face this morning, the fear in her eyes. And now that I thought about it, when did the tiredness start? After Allison's Sunday visits. When did the confusion get worse? After I'd eaten her cooking. 3 weeks of symptoms. 3 weeks of Allison's visits. 3 weeks of... Mr. Brennan? Sophia appeared in the doorway. She looked terrified. Did you read it? Tell me, I said. My voice came out hoarse. Tell me everything. Sophia glanced toward the door, like she expected Allison to burst back in. Then she moved closer, her voice low and urgent. I noticed it 2 weeks ago. You'd be fine in the morning, alert, doing your exercises well. Then, after Allison left, you'd start getting sleepy, confused. At first, I thought it was just bad days, you know. Recovery isn't linear. But then I started paying attention to the pattern. What pattern? Every Sunday, she brings food. Every Monday, you're worse. By Friday, you start to improve. Then Sunday comes again, and the cycle repeats. Sophia was wringing her hands. Last Sunday, I saw something. She was in the kitchen, and I walked in to get your medications. She had this little bottle. I only saw it for a second before she put it away. Brown glass, no label. She said it was vanilla extract for the cookies. Maybe it was, I said, but my voice held no conviction. Mr. Brennan, I worked in a pharmacy before I became a home health aide. I know what prescription bottles look like. That wasn't vanilla extract. She took a breath. I did something. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have. But I took one of the cookies she brought last Sunday. The ones you didn't finish. I had a friend at the lab test it. The room felt too small suddenly. And lorazepam. It's a sedative. A lot of it, Mr. Brennan. Enough to make someone very sleepy, confused, disoriented. Especially someone your age. Someone recovering from a stroke. I had to sit down. My legs wouldn't hold me anymore. Why? Why would Allison do this? Sophia's face was full of pity. I don't know. But I think maybe you should talk to a lawyer. Or the police. Someone needs to know about this before she stopped. Before what? Before it gets worse. Mr. Brennan, sedatives like that, they can interact with your other medications. They can cause falls, another stroke, even... She couldn't say it, but I heard it anyway. Death. She was talking about death. My daughter was trying to kill me. No, not quickly, not violently, slowly, gently, with banana bread and concern and visits every Sunday, making me confused, making me weak, making me seem like I was declining naturally. Until what? Until I had another stroke? Until I fell down the stairs? Until I needed to be put somewhere where Derek could find me a nice assisted living place? Her husband, I said suddenly. Derek, he's in on this. Sophia nodded. I think so. He's always asking about your medications, your symptoms, whether you're getting worse, and he's the one who found this agency, who hired me. I think they picked the cheapest service on purpose, hoping for someone who wouldn't pay attention. But you did. My mother, Sophia said quietly, she died in a nursing home. She kept saying something was wrong, that her food tasted funny, that she felt strange. Nobody believed her. They said it was dementia. After she died, my aunt found out that the night nurse had been stealing her pain medication and giving her placebos. Mom suffered for months because nobody listened. Her eyes were wet. I wasn't going to let that happen to someone else. Not if I could help it. I felt something crack in my chest. Not physically, not another stroke. This was different. This was the breaking of something I'd thought was unbreakable. Trust, love, the fundamental belief that your children would never hurt you. What do I do? I asked. 68 years old, and I was asking a 26-year-old home health aide what to do about my own daughter. First, don't eat anything else she brings. Not anything. If she insists, say you're not hungry, say you're on a new diet, say anything. Sophia pulled out her phone. Second, I think we need to document this. When you start feeling better, and you will, if you stop eating the drugged food, we need to record it. I've been keeping notes about your symptoms, and when they happen, that's evidence. Evidence for what? The police? The thought made me sick. Calling the police on my own daughter. Maybe, or maybe just confronting her. Letting her know that you know. Sometimes that's enough to make people stop. But Sophia didn't look convinced, and neither was I. Because if Allison was willing to drug me, what else was she willing to do? And why? We'd never been wealthy. The house was worth maybe 200,000 in this market. My savings were comfortable but not extravagant, maybe 50,000 after medical bills. My pension died with me. There was a small life insurance policy, 100,000 split between her and Marcus. Was that worth this? Worth slowly poisoning your own father? There's something else you should know, Sophia said hesitantly. I overheard a phone call last week. Allison didn't know I was in the laundry room. She was talking to someone I think Derek about finances. She said something like, "We're 2 months behind already, and we can't wait much longer. And the sooner the better." 2 months behind. On what? Mortgage payments? Credit cards? And the sooner the better, the sooner what? The sooner I died? I felt old then. Older than 68. Ancient. Tired. Part of me wanted to just eat the banana bread, take the long sleep, let it all end. If my own child wanted me gone so badly, maybe I should just... No. Catherine wouldn't want that. Catherine, who'd fought cancer with everything she had, who'd clawed for every extra day with us. She'd be furious if I gave up. She'd be heartbroken about Allison, but she'd want me to fight. Okay, I said. Okay. We document everything, we get proof, and then we figure out what to do. Sophia nodded, relief flooding her face. I'll help you, whatever you need. The next week was surreal. Allison came by twice more, both times with food. Tuesday, it was a container of special smoothies that she said were packed with protein. The doctor recommended them. Dad, she lied smoothly. I poured mine down the sink when she left. Thursday, she brought a lasagna. For your week, she said. Sophia can heat it up for your dinners. That went in the trash, wrapped in layers of newspaper so Sophia could take it out unseen. And I got better. God, I got so much better. By Wednesday, I wasn't falling asleep in my chair. By Friday, the dizziness was gone. By the following Monday, I felt sharper than I had in months. My physical therapy exercises got easier. My words came out clear. It was like waking up from a fog I hadn't realized I was living in. Sophia noticed. You're doing great, Mr. Brennan, she said. But her eyes were sad, because we both knew what my improvement meant. We both knew what had been causing the decline. I started paying attention to things I'd been too confused to notice before. Like how Allison always asked about my medications, which ones, what dosages, when I took them. Like how Derek, on his rare visits, would make comments about how hard it must be for me. Living alone, managing everything. You know, Tom, it would be so much easier if you were somewhere with full-time care. Just something to think about. Somewhere with full-time care. Somewhere they could visit on weekends, looking sad and dutiful, while I wasted away on drugs I didn't need, and no one would question. Somewhere I'd die quietly, conveniently, and they could sell this house, collect the insurance, and pay off whatever debts were eating them alive. I thought about calling Marcus. My son, my oldest child, he'd help, wouldn't he? But Marcus was across the country, dealing with his pregnant wife and his own life. And what would I say? Your sister is trying to kill me with banana bread? He'd think the stroke had affected my brain after all. He'd probably side with Allison, suggest I did need more care, maybe even that assisted living place Derek kept mentioning. No, I needed proof, real proof, something undeniable. We need to catch her, I told Sophia. Not just the drugged food. We need to catch her putting the drugs in the food. Sophia bit her lip. How? She's careful. She does it at home, before she brings it over. Then we need her to confess. Or we need to search her house, find the drugs, match them to what's in the food. I was thinking like a detective now, like someone in one of those crime shows Catherine used to watch. Can your lab friend test the banana bread? The whole loaf she brought Sunday? I already did, Sophia admitted. Same thing. Lorazepam. Enough in one slice to knock you out for hours. Could we get it tested officially? By a real lab? One that could hold up in court? Maybe. It's expensive, though, and they'd want to know why. I'll pay for it, I said. Whatever it costs. This is my life we're talking about. My daughter is trying to kill me, and I need proof that will make someone believe me. The official lab results came back the next week. Lorazepam, 4 milligrams per serving. Combined with my other medications, it was a dangerous dose. The lab tech who called with the results had sounded concerned. "Sir, are you taking this medication under a doctor's supervision? Because the interactions with your blood pressure medicine and blood thinners could be serious. You could have another stroke, or..." "I'm not taking it on purpose," I'd said. "Someone's giving it to me without my knowledge." There was a long pause. "Sir, if someone is drugging you without your consent, that's a crime. You need to contact the police." The police? I'd been avoiding thinking about that. But what choice did I have? Sunday came again. Allison called that morning. "Dad, I'm not going to be able to visit today. Derek's not feeling well. But I'm sending him over with some chicken soup for you, okay? It's already made, in the blue container. Have Sophia heat it up for lunch." Derek, alone, coming here. Something about that felt wrong, felt dangerous. "Actually, sweetheart, I'm not feeling great myself," I lied. "Maybe keep the soup for Derek. I'm just going to rest today." A pause. "Dad, Sophia said you've been doing really well lately. Much better. She said you're almost back to your old self." Had Sophia told her that? I glanced at Sophia, who was listening from the kitchen doorway, shaking her head frantically. No, she hadn't said that. So how did Allison know? "Has Derek been talking to the agency?" I asked. "Checking on my progress?" "Of course," Allison said smoothly. "We care about you, Dad. We want to make sure you're getting the best care. Actually, Derek and I have been talking, and we think it might be time to transition you to a higher level of care. There's a wonderful place about 20 minutes away." "I'm not going anywhere," I said. "I'm fine here." "But Dad, you're not fine. Sophia says you've had episodes of confusion, dizziness, weakness. What if you fall? What if you have another stroke and no one's there to help?" Her voice took on that sweet, concerned tone that now made my skin crawl. "We just want what's best for you. What's best for me is staying in my own home." I kept my voice even, calm. "I appreciate your concern, but I'm not ready for assisted living. I'm getting better, not worse." "That's not what we've been told." Derek's voice cut in. He'd picked up another phone. "Tom, let's be realistic. You're not as young as you used to be. Another stroke could be fatal. Don't you think it would be better to be somewhere safe? Somewhere they could visit me. Somewhere they could watch me decline on medications no one would question. Somewhere I'd sign whatever papers they put in front of me. Too confused to understand. Somewhere I'd die, and it would seem natural, expected, almost a blessing." "I'm not discussing this right now," I said. "I need to go." I hung up before they could respond. My hands were shaking. "Mr. Brennan," Sophia said quietly, "I think we need to call the police. Today. Now. This is getting dangerous." She was right. I knew she was right. But the thought of squad cars outside my house, of officers questioning my daughter, of this becoming real and official and public, it made me sick. "Let me think," I said. "Just let me think." But that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept playing it over in my mind. Allison, as a little girl. Catherine braiding her hair. Allison graduating high school, college, getting married. The granddaughter we'd hoped for that never came. The distance that had grown between us after Catherine died, subtle but real. Had I failed her somehow? Had I been a bad father? What had I done to make her hate me enough for this? At 2 a.m, I got up and went to my office. I pulled out the file drawer where I kept important papers. Birth certificates, the deed to the house, Catherine's death certificate, my will. The will. I'd made it 5 years ago, before Catherine got sick. Everything split evenly between Allison and Marcus. The house, the savings, the insurance. I'd updated it after Catherine died to remove her as beneficiary, but otherwise left it the same. Why wouldn't I? They were my children. I loved them equally. But now I pulled out my laptop and started researching. How much was everything worth, really? The house, yes, maybe $200,000. The savings down to $40,000 after medical bills. The insurance, $100,000. The pension died with me. So total, about $340,000. Split 2 ways. $170,000 for Allison. Was that enough to kill for? I dug deeper, searching public records. And there it was. Derek's business, something with real estate development, had filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy 4 months ago, right before my stroke. They were underwater, drowning in debt. The house they'd bought 2 years ago, the one in the nice suburb with the good schools for the children they didn't have yet, was in foreclosure proceedings. $170,000 would save them, maybe not completely, but enough to stop the foreclosure, make a dent in the debt, buy them time. And all it would cost was my life. I sat there in the dark, staring at the screen, and something inside me turned cold and hard. This wasn't confusion or paranoia or an old man's fears. This was real. My daughter and her husband had calculated the value of my life and decided it was worth less than their financial problems. At 7 in the morning, I called Detective Sarah Winters at the local police department. A friend had recommended her years ago when we'd had a break-in. She was thorough, he'd said. She'd listen. Detective Winters, my name is Thomas Brennan. I need to report an attempted poisoning. She came to my house that afternoon, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense manner. She listened to everything: the stroke, the symptoms, Sophia's observations, the lab results, the phone conversation, the bankruptcy. She took notes. She asked questions. She didn't look at me like I was crazy. "Mr. Brennan," she said when I'd finished, "this is serious. If what you're telling me is true, this is attempted murder, or at minimum, felony assault. But I have to ask, are you sure? This is your daughter. Once we start this investigation, there's no taking it back." "I'm sure," I said. "I have the proof. The lab results, Sophia's notes, the pattern of symptoms. I know how it sounds. But I'm not confused, I'm not paranoid, and I'm not willing to die because I'm afraid of what people will think." She nodded slowly. "All right. Here's what we're going to do. First, I need to collect evidence. The banana bread, the cookies, anything else she's brought recently that you haven't thrown away. Second, I need to talk to Sophia. She'll need to give an official statement. Third, I want to try something. Are you willing to let us set up recording equipment here? See if we can catch them in the act or get a confession? You mean wire the house? Something like that. We'd need your consent, and we'd need to be strategic about it. But if they think you're getting worse again, if they come to visit and say something incriminating." She left the sentence hanging. It felt like a betrayal, like I was betraying my own daughter. But then I thought about those cookies, that banana bread, the smoothies, and the casseroles, all laced with drugs meant to confuse me, weaken me, kill me. Who had betrayed whom? "Do it," I said. They came the next day while Allison was at work. Technicians who looked like ordinary repairmen, installing what they told the neighbors were new smoke detectors and a medical alert system. But these smoke detectors had cameras. These medical alert buttons had microphones. My house was now a surveillance operation. Detective Winters' plan was simple. I was supposed to start declining again. Start seeming confused, tired, weak. Call Allison and tell her I wasn't feeling well, that maybe she was right about needing more care. Draw her and Derek here. Get them talking. "I'm sorry to ask this," Detective Winters said. "I know it's not easy to pretend to be worse than you are, but we need them to feel safe, to talk freely. If they think you're improving, they'll be more careful." So I became an actor in my own life. When Allison called Monday evening, I made my voice slurred, confused. "Allison? Oh, honey, I don't feel very good. I'm so tired. Did you visit yesterday? I can't remember." Her voice sharpened with interest. "No, Dad, that was last week. Are you okay? Do you need me to come over?" "I don't know. Maybe. Everything's fuzzy." It hurt to say these things, to make myself sound pathetic. But I thought of Catherine, and I kept going. "Maybe you were right about that place. Maybe I do need more help." "Oh, Dad." I could hear the relief in her voice, the excitement she was trying to hide. "Don't worry. Derek and I will come over tomorrow. We'll figure this out together. Okay?" "Okay," I mumbled. "Thank you, sweetheart." I hung up and looked at Sophia, who was standing nearby, her face pale. "I feel sick," I said. "Me too," she whispered. They came Tuesday afternoon. I was in my recliner, dressed in old sweatpants, and an unwashed shirt, looking as bad as I could manage. Sophia had messed up my hair, put drops in my eyes to make them look tired and red. I was slumped in my chair, the TV on to some game show I wasn't watching. Allison knocked and walked in, Derek behind her. "Dad? Oh, Dad, you look terrible. When did you start feeling bad again?" "I don't know," I mumbled, playing the part. "Few days ago? Sophia says I'm getting worse. I forget things. I'm so tired all the time." Derek and Allison exchanged glances. I saw it clearly: satisfaction, relief, triumph. My own daughter looked happy that I was declining. "We brought you something," Allison said, holding up a container. "Your favorite butterscotch pudding. I made it fresh this morning. Pudding. Harder to test. Easier to hide drugs in. Smart." That's nice, honey. Maybe later. I'm not very hungry." "Dad, you need to eat." She opened the container, got a spoon. "Just a few bites. For me?" She held the spoon to my mouth. Her face was so caring, so concerned. This was my daughter, who I'd rocked to sleep as a baby, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who I'd walked down the aisle on her wedding day. And she was trying to feed me poison. I turned my head away. "Can't. Feel sick." "Tom," Derek said, his voice smooth and reasonable, "we need to talk about your care situation. You're getting worse, not better. It's not safe for you to be alone anymore." "I'm not alone. Sophia's here. During the day, sure. But at night? On weekends? What if you fall? What if you have another stroke?" He pulled out some papers from his briefcase. I could see official-looking letterhead. "We've found a great facility. Full-time medical care, activities, other people your age. We've already put down a deposit, actually. We just need you to sign some paperwork, and we can get you moved in by next week." Next week. They wanted me out of my house by next week. I don't know," I said, making my voice uncertain. "This is my home. Dad, it's too much for you." Allison knelt beside my chair, taking my hand. "You can barely take care of yourself. And this house, it's so big, so much maintenance. Wouldn't it be nice to not worry about any of that? To just relax and let other people take care of everything? Let other people take care of everything, including my finances, my assets, my will, including killing me slowly with medications and natural decline. But my things," I said, "my memories of Mom, will pack up everything important," Derek assured me. "The furniture, the photos, all of Catherine's things, we'll put it all in storage. Don't you worry about any of that. You just focus on getting better. Storage, where they could sort through it at their leisure, sell what they wanted, keep what had value. And I'd be safely locked away in some facility, too drugged and confused to object." "I need to think about it," I said. Derek's smile got tight. "Tom, I don't think you're understanding. You're not capable of living independently anymore. We've talked to your doctor." "You talked to my doctor?" My fake confusion slipped a little. "Dr. Kumar?" "Well, not directly. But Sophia's been giving us updates through the agency. And that's not legal," Sophia said quietly from the doorway. We'd all forgotten she was there. "I don't report to family members. I report to my supervisor, and they report to the patient only." Derek's face flushed. "We're his daughter and son-in-law. We have a right to know." "Actually, you don't," Sophia said, her voice steadier now. "Not unless Mr. Brennan has signed a release, which he hasn't." "Dad, sign the papers." Allison's voice had an edge now, the sweetness cracking. "We're trying to help you. Why are you being so difficult?" "I just need time to think," I repeated. "You don't have time!" The words burst out of Derek. "Every day you stay here, you're at risk. Another stroke could kill you. And then what? Your kids are left dealing with this mess, this house, the medical bills, everything. Is that what you want?" There it was. The truth, under all the concern. They wanted this done, over with, finished. They wanted me in that facility, or dead. And they didn't much care which. "Why are you really doing this?" I asked, dropping the confused act. "The bankruptcy? The foreclosure? That what this is about?" Derek went very still. Allison's face drained of color. "What are you talking about?" Allison said. but her voice was thin. Chapter 13. Filed 4 months ago. Your house in foreclosure. Is that why you need me dead? For the inheritance? I stood up, steadier than I'd pretended to be. Is that why you've been drugging me? Hoping I'd die of another stroke, or fall down the stairs, or just fade away so you could sell this house and save your own? Dad, you're confused. The pudding, I said, pointing to the container. What's in it, Allison? Lorazepam? More than last time? Enough to really do damage? Her mouth opened and closed. Derek grabbed her arm. I'm calling our lawyer, Derek said. You're clearly not competent to. Actually, Detective Winters said, walking in from the kitchen where she'd been watching the whole thing on monitors. I think Mr. Brennan is very competent, and I think you both need to come with me. The trial was 3 months later. The prosecutor had a mountain of evidence, the lab results on the food, Sophia's testimony about the patterns of my symptoms, the financial records showing Derek and Allison's desperation, the recording of them trying to force me into a facility against my will. And then there were the drugs themselves. Police had searched their house and found a bottle of lorazepam prescribed to Derek for anxiety, half empty, and a mortar and pestle with traces of crushed pills. Allison took a plea deal 5 years with possibility of parole after 3. Derek went to trial and lost. 12 years. The judge called it one of the most callous acts of elder abuse she'd ever seen. Marcus flew in for the sentencing. He sat next to me in the courtroom, holding my hand like he was the father and I was the child. I'm so sorry, Dad, he kept saying. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. I should have paid more attention. You were busy with your own life, I said. That's what you're supposed to do. I never thought. I know, he said. Neither did I. Now I sit in my house, the same house I've lived in for 40 years. I'm doing well. The doctors are amazed by my recovery. I take my medications correctly now, just my medications, nothing extra. Sophia still comes by 3 times a week, though I don't really need her anymore. We've become friends. She's teaching me to use social media, and I'm teaching her how to refinish furniture. Her boyfriend came over last weekend and helped me fix the fence. Marcus visits once a month. His daughter, my first grandchild, was born 2 months ago. I flew out to meet her, held her in my arms, and cried like a baby. She's beautiful, perfect. Marcus named her Catherine. I don't visit Allison in prison. She writes sometimes. The first letter was full of excuses, the stress, the debt, Derek's influence. The second letter was full of apologies. I haven't answered them. I don't know if I ever will. Some days I think about forgiveness. I think about Catherine, who always said family was everything. I think about the little girl who used to sit on my lap and ask me to read her one more story. I think about how people can break under pressure, make terrible choices, lose their way. But then, I think about that spoon of pudding, held up to my mouth with such false tenderness. I think about how she smiled while trying to feed me drugs. I think about how she'd already picked out the facility where I'd die. And I think, maybe some betrayals are too deep to forgive. Maybe some wounds don't heal. Maybe it's okay to protect yourself, even from your own children. I'm 70 now. I'll live in this house until I die, which, thanks to Sophia, won't be for a long time yet. I've updated my will. Marcus gets everything. Allison gets $1, the legal minimum. In the will, I wrote 1 line of explanation. She knows why. On good days, I feel guilty about that. On bad days, I remember the banana bread, and I don't feel guilty at all. I don't know if that makes me a bad father, but it makes me a living one. And at my age, that counts for something. The other day, Sophia brought over her mother's recipe book. I want to learn to cook like she did, she said. My boyfriend's coming for dinner next week, and I want to make something special. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where this all started, and we looked through recipes together. Banana bread was in there. I stared at it for a long moment, then turned the page. How about lasagna? I suggested. I make a pretty good lasagna. Sophia smiled. That sounds perfect. And it was. We made it together, from scratch. Nothing added that wasn't supposed to be there. Just food, just friendship, just life, continuing in the house that almost became my grave. Sometimes, That's enough. Sometimes that's everything.